So Andrew Tate has been banned off of Instagram and Facebook for quote-unquote violating their policies. And Meta even gave a statement saying it had removed the kickboxing star from its platforms for violating its policies on dangerous organizations and individuals, but did not provide further details. Just some typical vague PR response, you know? But first of all, this ban doesn't really matter. If anything, it's actually good for Andrew Tate and his whole movement. The ball is already rolling. There's no way you can really stop this. Somebody else is just going to pick up the baton that he left off. If anything, this might make people subscribe to his ideologies even more because you are actively trying to ban it, so people are going to take interest in it. It doesn't stop the overarching movement that he has already spread to millions of people in society. But the problem with just outright banning Andrew Tate shows an inherent weakness that the left has. It shows they're unable to offer any good counterpoints to all the things that he says. Almost every comment I read reacting to him in a negative manner has no substance at all to it. It either has no substance or it's just spreading blatant misinformation. And when they try to make memes about him, it's all just trying to emasculate him, and they take everything he says in bad faith. Does Andrew Tate say some stupid things? Yes, of course. But do some of the other things he say have some hints of truth in them? Absolutely. If there weren't any bits of truth in what he says, then he wouldn't have grown to such a large following. Tate is a product of what the lefties have created. They might not know it yet though, but after years of ignoring legit social issues that some men have, Tate is a result of that. And honestly, I don't even blame them. When everyone else is screeching about how they don't want you, society doesn't want you, and how all men are bad, and they just keep hearing it over and over again. But then when someone comes along who will actually listen to you and will speak out about how you are feeling, you can't blame them for taking a liking to the guy. It's definitely a pendulum swing though. Right now, society deems that we're moving too far to the left, and people will only blindly agree with so much with what one side is saying before they wake up and say, hold on, it's getting a bit too extreme. And Andrew Tate is probably the start of that pendulum swinging back to it being neutral. Look, the red pill is not for me, but I do understand where a lot of these young men are coming from, and until you actually address what a lot of these young folks are feeling, movements like these are not just going to fade away because you ban one of the leading faces to it. You have to actually address the underlying issues behind it. It's easy to say, just stop listening to Andrew Tate, which is what a lot of these lefties are saying, but you're not offering any solutions. You're just running away from the problem and coping by making jokes about it all over social media. It's really a sad sight to see. It's like you're on a Titanic, right? And you're trying to patch up the leaky holes, but every time you patch up one hole, 3, 4 more leaks just come out of nowhere. And to my knowledge, Tate didn't even post anything remotely controversial on his Instagram. He didn't post anything that could have gotten him banned. It was all just photos of him showing off his extravagant lifestyle. His videos or clips aren't even posted on his personal Instagram, and all his usual content is on YouTube and TikTok. It's not like he's even posting these videos himself either. It's his fans that are doing that. The only way for you to outright ban him and his content is if you have an AI scour every single video that gets posted and it just looks for his face, and if it sees his face, it just doesn't let you upload the video. And I don't know about you guys, but that already sounds super dystopian to me. And moving forward, this just sets a scary precedent because now other social media platforms might take the same stance as Meta and just start straight up banning people off of their platforms, even though they didn't explicitly violate any of the terms and services on their platform. So just because you're posting content that they don't agree with on, say, YouTube or TikTok, Twitter might see that and they're still going to ban you anyways. The leftists always complain about fascism and authoritarianism, but will never speak out about things like this. Just because you don't agree with the things he says and his political opinions, it doesn't mean he should be deplatformed. That's textbook authoritarianism. Imagine if someone got banned for being pro-LGBTQ. There would be riots out in the streets. Everyone would be calling to stop using Instagram and social media. And the same defense that these lefties will use to defend when people get deplatformed like this is, well, Meta is a private company and they can do whatever they want. They're not banning freedom of speech. And well, technically that is true, but in the current day, the 21st century, social media is like a town square. It's where everyone goes to have discussion about topics. If you can't post on social media, you're not going to get heard. Where do you want these people to turn to? The radio? Not even that, but lefties nowadays will call for you to get removed from your school, job, and social media, essentially destroying your whole livelihood just because you don't agree with what they're saying. They want you to submit to them like overlords without even a second thought and act as if you're a literal bot NPC. That's not something that I would expect from a party claiming that they're the tolerant party. They're the ones that are screaming anyone who disagrees with them are fascists and will always chant destroy fascism and Nazism, but they themselves don't even realize that they're the ones being fascist. It's absolutely mind-blowing that they call everyone else Nazis and fascists, but yet fail to realize what they themselves are actually advocating for. Their whole argument is, I'm right and you're wrong, and if you disagree with me, you should lose your entire livelihood. If you're not even able to have a civil conversation with the other side, you're going to be stuck in a never-ending echo chamber because no one would even dare to speak out their mind out of fear of being cast out. That's why it's so important to know when to actually deplatform someone. The problem with just outright silencing anyone who disagrees with you is that when the time comes, people won't know how to counter the other side. That's why discussion is healthy and good. You can look at both sides of the argument and then come to your own conclusions. If they're saying some outright nonsense, then you should be able to know how to refute those claims. You might not agree with it, but at the very least, you should understand why they are the way that they are. They'll say that Andrew Tate is ruining the young boys of today and future generations, but they won't utter a single word when they see the most extreme liberal teachers on TikTok spreading the most radical trans ideologies, and thus spreading these ideologies to their students. And they're potentially even grooming them into being trans. Something the kids might not even want to be. Kids are super malleable at a young age, and their parents might not be okay with them doing this. But whenever you speak about that, you get called a bigot, a homophobe, anti-LGBTQ, everything you can think of. It's just so tiring seeing the double standard as someone who is not on the left or right. But anyways, that wraps up for this video. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Did you agree or disagree with the Andrew Tate ban? And thank you all for watching. Peace.